So Alice in Zouroku episode 10 was a really fun and just overall sweet episode, I have to say. It made me smile watching this. I mean, I didn't talk about last week's episode, not that it was a bad episode, just one of those episodes that you would have heard me say anything that I hadn't already said before, so no point in making a review for it. But episode 10 I really like because this is a very Alice in Wonderland themed episode. And this is a kind of story and just kind of a trope that every genre, every medium uses at some point in time, and Alice in Wonderland is one of the most used go-to ones. And the story itself is nothing that's ever hooked me. I've never really liked the original story of Alice in Wonderland. It's fine, but I think the idea was more interesting than its execution. But I found that over the years, watching just different series, rom-coms, just video games, just everything that wasn't the original story has been far more interesting using the idea of Alice in Wonderland than the actual original story. And it's not to say that this episode is just an Alice in Wonderland kind of parody or just kind of mock-up of the original story, but it's very influenced by it. I mean, of course, Sana herself says, "Welcome to Wonderland," but just the visuals and how they use it to kind of direct, and just how, you know, one of the characters will be falling and then immediately be into a different place. She falls into a cage after drowning, kind of a thing. There's many shots that it's edited exactly like the original story would in animated form. And I really like that because it just gives a different feeling to the series. Because first 6 episodes, it did have its sweet moments, but it was more serious. It was more kind of like, it had more of a drama feel, you could definitely say. With the second half being a more down-to-earth slice-of-life series, with some cute moments and some more serious moments off and on, but this is definitely the most different-feeling episode, in my opinion, that the series has seen so far. As someone who likes magical land adventures, I mean, I love Flip Flappers back last year, I really like these series that we have these magical worlds, and I like going into it, and Sana's power is perfect for this type of story. So watching her, because she's so frazzled, she doesn't understand what she's feeling, she's a little kid who's just so confused with her emotions. She's saying, well, this girl's good, but she's saying her friend who I know is evil is good, so I just don't know what I'm feeling. And she's getting all frazzled, and I think it's just cute to watch. It's fun to watch, and I just, it's interesting that they're using this as kind of like the final kind of plot hook for the series, because I was hoping ever since episode 7 that they would stick to a more kind of simple and more slice of life series, because we've already had the serious side, so I wanted to have more kind of cutesy fun moments, because now she's kind of free of that facility. So that's what I wanted, and they definitely are giving that, because even with this, it's not that serious. I mean, the whole family situation with the other girl, yeah, you can call it a bit more serious, but it's nothing that extreme. We know they're gonna get out of Wonderland. Sure, they're trapped right now, but eventually they're just gonna become friends, and I think episode 11 is gonna wrap up this kind of like new character arc, and episode 12 is just going to be a slice-of-life family episode to wrap up the series. That's how I feel like they're going with it, and I think that's the perfect way to go, because I haven't seen an anime do something quite like this, where literally in 12 episodes, it feels like you got a 24-episode run. The first 6 episodes definitely feel like a 12-episode series itself, with this second half being, like, what would happen if you watched a serious show where all this horrible things could go wrong at any particular time, and then, oh, they get to have a happily ever after ending, but you never get to see that happily ever after ending, and this is kind of what I feel like the series is going for, and I'm really enjoying it for that. I think, the characters are not developing excruciatingly well or just over the top, but they don't really need to at this particular time. She is just a kid, and we are just letting her grow up in a normal home, but I think it's fun watching Zouroku just kind of being like, what are you doing to my house? And she's just like, oh, nothing. She's trying to hide away, and then she is turning their bathroom into basically a jail cell, or that she's hiding in a closet and has like this little like critter come out and say, hey, I'm going after the evil person, so I won't be back for a while. I think just overall, it was an interesting episode. Definitely the visuals were the star of the show, in my opinion. I think the directing was on point, especially with some of the scenes, like I mentioned, when, I forget her name, but the friend who was literally drowning and then she falls into the cage. I think they just did some really interesting editing techniques to really make this feel special, and I'm really excited to watch next week's episode to see how they're going to get out of this land, because they are essentially trapped, and it seems like their powers once again negated one another and kind of shattered some things. I'm going to be interested to see why it is, like why they do negate each other's powers, if maybe they're just so similar that they counteract each other. That could be a possibility, but at the core, this was a good episode. I mean, I'm really excited to see what the hell happens and what Zouroku is going to do, because he had such a cheesy line in the episode, like, I'm the adult, so I gotta go save him. But just because it's his character, it somehow worked. Even though it was a cheesy line, it somehow worked. I'm just excited to see what they do next week. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Did you like the Alice in Wonderland kind of parody trope that they did? Was there something you would have liked to see a bit more of? Let me know your thoughts, and before you leave, smack that like button to show your support. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.